Well, hello, family and friends. It's Kanoi, and I am back with another junk journal process video. Okay, here is the deal. I had someone mention to me that they thought my videos were too fast. But the funny thing is that when I first started posting process videos that were sped up, a lot of people actually said, I really love the pace of your videos, that they weren't, they didn't drag on, and they liked that I just got straight to the point. So I figured, you know what, I'll meet in the middle and I will slow it down a little bit. I personally like videos that are not in real time just because I'm a visual person and I find myself generally fast forwarding through most process videos anyway, because not that I don't want to listen to people, because I do. I actually really enjoy listening to several people. I will like put their videos on repeat and just let them play. But for the most part, I like to get inspiration, and I'm a visual learner. So that's why I actually ended up posting the way that I did, because I just assumed, no, I shouldn't have assumed. I didn't assume. That's my style. I want to get straight to the point, get it on here, and hopefully I don't bore you guys to death. So, all right. So this one may be a little bit longer. I won't be offended if you fast forward through it. Okay, so what did I do? I have some photos here, as always, even though I have said several times that I am not going to put any more photos into this journal because it is filled to the brim. But I can't help myself because, once again, I'm a visual person, and I when I do memory keeping, I feel like I have to have some kind of image to go with it. So that's where we're at. All right, so I'm trying to find a page here. What did I just do? Well, I've just posted a photo that I found off of a royalty-free website, and it was intended for my friend's junk journal that I just made, but it didn't ever make it into the journal, so it was just too cute not to put in there. And then this photo here is a picture of my son making a touchdown. It was the very first play of the game within the first 10 seconds of this flag football game, and it was kind of redeeming because his tackle team, which is with his school, has been losing every single game, and his flag team is actually really good. So it was nice to kind of come out of a couple of losses and for him to just come out the gates literally running. I mean, he, like I said, 10 seconds and he made a touchdown, and it was so exciting. So I needed to document that. It was just fun. And then this is a photo of the newest book I'm reading, The Midnight Library. We are reading this with our book club. It's probably a book I would have never picked up, honestly, but that's what I appreciate about book clubs, is that it makes you read books you generally wouldn't read, and then you're kind of forced to stay interested in it. And I'm glad, because probably the first 2 pages I would have been over it already, but now that I'm about a third of the way through the book, I actually am really enjoying it. It's kind of a time travel book, and it has parallel universes, and I just kind of appreciate it. So yeah, I always like to put the books that I'm reading in this journal, and I've actually had, I want to say 3 or 4 books now. I'm back out of a reading slump, I should say. I love reading, and so it's always fun whenever I'm in a reading groove. Okay, so oh, there went my camera. So sorry. I'm trying to, let me fix that. Hang on. Okay, I chose this beauty page because this entry is about my husband and me going on a date day. We don't have date nights because, the kids are home, so our dates have to be during the day. And my husband actually planned it. He said, hey, let's go up to Mount Charleston, which is, oh, there, I hit my thing. Every time I lift my hands off of the paper, it hits the camera. Okay, so he wanted to drive up to Mount Charleston. He actually has a motorcycle, and so we thought, okay, let's do that. It's not super hot anymore in Vegas. It's still reaching like 90 degrees, but the weather's just been glorious. It's so beautiful. I love Las Vegas weather. I don't, even the heat, I'm okay, just because it's so beautiful every time. And you look out the window and it's crystal clear skies, and it's just so gorgeous. So we decided to take a drive up there. So I am just putting some pictures down now, and this is actually some packaging that came with some scrapbook supplies that I bought. And I actually cut a heart out of it the other day, and I thought, oh, I can use the negative for this entry. I thought maybe I would put it over a photo, but then when I saw it over the word beauty, I thought, oh, that looks kind of cute. This is a testament to us junk journalers who throw nothing away. Everything is a possibility for junk journaling. And this packaging was definitely that. And it actually looked really cute on one of those index cards that I made, the collaged card. I put that in my friend's journal. This is where I got that heart image from. I actually just cut it out of this page right here. And then we took a bunch of photos. And the sweet thing is that my husband has never been one to take photos. I mean, he's like my son, or my son is like him. They hate taking photos. And, you know, we have been growing. I mean, we've been married for 14 years. And I would say the last year has probably been one of the best years of our marriage. Like any marriage, you know, we've had our ups and downs, plenty of downs. And I feel like it's only up from here. I mean, we kind of hit a breakthrough a couple of years ago, and moving here to Vegas has really helped our marriage to flourish, just because, you know, we've only got each other. I mean, we don't have 1,000,001 distractions, and we don't have a lot of family here. And so it's been nice to really just be able to focus on our family, which has been probably the biggest blessing, being here in Vegas. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to place these photos. I didn't want to just put the photos down, and I saw this door digital that was sitting on my desk. I have a huge pile of digitals right now from when I was making that junk journal, and so I thought, oh, this would be really cute to put on this entry. So I'm just cutting now the door. This is exactly what I did in my friend's journal as well, and allowing these doors to kind of open up to reveal something behind them. And so I thought, oh, this would be perfect to put some of the photos that we took that day. So anyway, we were up there in Mount Charleston, and we did a little picnic. And so, of course, I was telling my husband, well, we have to take photos, you know that. And he's really kind of just accepted it at this point, that yes, you will take photos with me. And he knows it's kind of like a sacrifice that he has to make because it makes me happy, and he knows that. So I think he's seeing the fruit of my photos in my journals lately. So he knows that, you know, it's important to me that I keep memories this way. So he was willing to do it, which I'm super grateful for, because we got some really cute pictures, I think. And so now I'm just trying to figure out something to put on the bottom half of the door opening. And I didn't really like that label there. So I decided to take some of these fall or autumn leaves. I have a whole big bag of them. I mean, if you have been to Hobby Lobby, I'm sure you have at least passed these in the fall section. If not, you know, actually bought them yourself. I know there were a couple of people who told me last time, oh yeah, I got those leaves too. They're really cute. And so just using some fabric glue to place them down, you know, not really all one direction. Some going down, some going up. And I just thought it was kind of cute to be at the bottom of that photo because it is fall. And of course, we don't have a lot of fall colors here in Las Vegas. But if you do go up to Mount Charleston, I mean, that is where you will see so much beauty. And it is an opportunity to get away from, you know, the browns of the desert and to see the greenery. And there are a lot of really beautiful flowers up there. So that worked out really good. And then just finishing this off by journaling, writing date day at Mount Charleston, doing some hand lettering, and using my fountain pen, which I've suddenly become obsessed with fountain pens. And this is actually a brown ink. And I bought this one off of Amazon, and believe it or not, it's actually a really good pen. I've had several fountain pens sent to me, and I guess I never realized that all fountain pens are not created equal. And I quickly discovered that. So I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought a couple of these fountain pens and some of the cartridges that go with it, and they're actually really good. Okay, so moving on to my next batch of photos, of course, trying to find another page here. You know, I'm eventually not even going to have to do a flip through of this journal because I feel like every time I do a process video, I'm always looking for a page. So you guys actually get to see what is already in my journal. But here I actually forgot that I had this, I guess, tag where we had to pay. Can you believe you have to pay to go have a picnic? We were like, what? And not paying, you know, $5, $10. It's $12. Like, who carries $12 on them anymore? If anything, maybe you might have a 10 or a 20, but ones. I mean, that's like carrying pennies. Okay, anyway, I have this cute little ID from my daughter's school, and I don't think second graders use their school ID. I don't even know why they make school IDs anymore, because they give them to the kids and then they say take them home. It's the weirdest thing. But I decided to put it in here so that I have it, and just in case they do need it one of these days. Okay, my daughter had her second gymnastics meet, and we are so very proud of her because this is only the second time that she's ever really competed in anything. And she actually did really well. She came in first on the balance beam, second in floor and bars, and second overall. And so it was just a really exciting day. My auntie and uncle came, and we had a really nice time just spending time with them. We went out to dinner after, and so it was a lot of fun. So this was actually the Pumpkin Patch Invitational. That was the name of the meet. So I decided to use these iron-on transfers that I found at a thrift store. Perfect for this actual journal entry, and using my heat gun just to transfer it onto this page here. And I love that it actually works out that way, that you can use this. I cannot believe how hot those heat guns get. You got to be careful, because I almost actually burned my finger off when I was doing this. But just using some fabric glue now to glue on the picture of her saluting on her second place platform. And we're just so proud of her. So cute. I just love this season of being a mother and, you know, being able to celebrate her. And she's always, you know, how it is with the younger sibling. I mean, you kind of concentrate on the older sibling and all of the things that they have to do. And, you know, the younger one tagging along all the time through all of the events. So now it's her turn and it's her time. So we're really happy about that. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to use just the single pumpkin or this one. And I actually didn't end up using it. So I looked at it and I'm like, but that's just too darn cute not to actually put it into my journal. So I decided to place this one on this envelope here just to fill up some of the spaces on the pages that I have left in this journal. You know, towards the end of every journal that I have, I always have leftover pages. And I told myself that I really wanted to try to put forth my very best effort to make sure that I'm able to fill up most, if not all, of the pages here. My son ended up going to a Raiders game with one of his best friends, and this was a really special day for him because, hello, I haven't even been to a pro football game yet. And he didn't just go to the Raiders game. He sat in the VIP section. They had their own little buffet of food. It was the Raiders versus the Broncos game. So I guess his best friend, or one of his best friends, the dad owns a Ford dealership, and I guess they were one of the sponsors of the Allegiant Stadium. And so, hey, you know what? That's some of the perks that you get whenever you are a giving person who, you know, decides to help out with a community, to build a community structure. So yeah, and I was grateful because the dad tells me, yep, there'll be a lot more where that came from. So I'm like, can you take me next time? So I was like, you know what? He is living his best life. He's got Sour Patch Kids. He's sipping on a Coke. He's watching in a VIP section with his best friend. I mean, life really can't get any better at this point. In the meantime, my daughter asks me to go shopping. She's 8 years old, and this basically made all of my dreams come true because she has never cared about shopping before in the past. And so we decided to live our best life, and we went to 3 different malls. We ate pizza. We bought shoes. And so it really was just the perfect day all around for all of us, both my son and my daughter and myself, while my husband was flying the friendly skies of Hawaiian Airlines. And so I'm just finding some of these word stickers because I have a ton of them and I never use them. And I'm like, I really, really, really need to start using up some of the things that I have in my stash instead of hoarding them and buying more. So that also goes for some of the Happy Mail that I have gotten from friends. Okay, and I found this little daisy, or I don't know what kind of flower it is, that was just sitting on my desk, and I had intended to actually press it, but it instead just shrank on my desk. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put it into this section of my journal. So I'm just trying to find some washi tape where I can washi tape this cute little flower down. And it's probably going to shrivel up and, you know, put little yellow flowers all over my desk at some point, but that's okay. The thought was there. And also on my desk were my letters that I had recently gotten from my 2 new pen pals, which I still have not written back to. Missy and Brenna. I'm going to get on it one of these days and create a little something for you guys and write back. I know it's mostly about the letter. I mean, pen paling, there should not be pressure to have to create something amazing, but that's part of the creative brain. I mean, that's kind of the thorn in our flesh. We want to be able to create stuff and give it away. And now I am itching to do something along the lines of messy art or mixed media art, however you want to look at it, whatever you want to call it. So I knew I had some fall napkins, and I think I got these from Tuesday Morning. So I decided to decoupage these napkins, or this napkin part of it. I think there are 4 of these images on one napkin, so I'm going to have a lot of them left. And I'm just using my homemade vintage Mod Podge. I mean, it's actually Mod Podge, and I just added some Distress ink to it, and that way it has more of kind of like a vintagey look. I did get the idea from, I believe it's is it Tim Holtz? I think Tim Holtz has a vintage mixed media medium or something like that. And so I was like, I can totally do this myself. I don't know if you're like that, but I always say, if I can do it myself, I'm going to do it myself. So again, I'm taking some of these autumn leaves and just throwing them on where I have some wet glue still, just to add a little bit more texture to the autumn feel of these napkins. And then just trying to cover up some of the stark white of the mixed media paper by using some of the Distress oxides and this blender brush, which, by the way, you can always find art supplies at places like Ross, TJ Maxx. I want to say I got this in the makeup section at Ross because it's basically the same thing. And now I'm just taking some background stamps. I think it's like music notes and maybe some script and print, and just putting it on randomly onto that background so that I could get another layer of texture. And then taking a stencil with some texture paste to add again another layer. And this has really been so fun for me to do some of these mixed media projects or pages. I learn every time I do it what works, what doesn't, and how I can be better. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But in the end, it always somehow just works. I mean, that's the beauty of mixed media. It's not intended, I don't think, to be some sort of, masterpiece that has these lines and angles, and I mean, it is meant for the mind that is like ours, that are kind of messy inside, and it comes out beautiful every time. You can see I actually got some of the texture paste on that other page, and I don't mind it. I mean, that again, beauty of the junk journal is that when there's a mistake, it's not actually a mistake. It is, I always say, it is it's an intended mistake. And here I'm pulling some of my fabric pieces, which I got for free, by the way, from an upholstery online store. If you just Google free fabric swatches, you can actually find these sites that will give you, I don't know, I want to say like 10 fabric swatches. You get to choose your own. And so these were some of the fabric swatches that I chose that were sent to me for free. So you can do that. Just a heads up. Do it before, these companies figure out that we junk journalers are doing this. And I am just going to be placing some of this, some collaging, I guess you could call it, using a little frame that I found at Savers, some fabric swatches, some, scraps that I have laying around. I think I have a little mini dictionary page, which is actually in Spanish. And I actually took that fabric swatch cluster to my sewing machine so that, I could have those threads in there and they wouldn't be all over the place. So every piece of trash is like a treasure here. I took those threads and I put them right on top and I sewed right through them, and it gives, again, another layer. And I'm just looking through my stash of ephemera and trying to find some pieces that I probably would never use and throwing it in here. I decided to use a hot glue gun as inspired by, here we go again, Shanoki Art. Not sure how I say her name, but she uses a hot glue gun for her collaging and her mixed media pages. And I was like, that is brilliant. At first I was like, why are you using hot glue gun? It's added bulk, but it actually works out really well because it's so quick. I mean, it dries so fast. Obviously, you don't want to use it on projects where you need a little bit of flexibility and you want to be able to move stuff around. But when you're working quickly and you want to get stuff down, it is the perfect glue to be able to do that. And I'm finally digging into some of my ephemera pieces that are vintage. I've always been scared to tear them up or to, not have them in their entirety. But I'm like, if I don't put it in here, I'm never going to do anything with it. I mean, even if I put in a whole page, I'm ultimately going to end up covering it up, So let's go. So here I was using a little scrap of some ledger that I had, and then just pulled one of the pieces of the digital images that I had sitting on my desk that says push your boundaries, because this is exactly what this entry did for me. And because it was a little too long whenever I opened my page, which the reason why it ended up being long is because this was a fold out page, but I hot glue gunned right into the crease and I wasn't able to fold it back down upon itself. So it was sticking out way too far. So I tore the edge and just inked it up. And now I'm going to journal about this process and how much I am loving the ability to be free in creativity and just use, different mediums. I now get it. I get the joy of mixed media art. And that pretty much wraps up this junk journal process video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Would love it if you subscribe to this channel. If you love junk journaling, Bible journaling, anything crafty, that is what you will find here. So I hope to see you again on the next video. Until then, I bid you a big God bless you, ahui ho, aloha, and we'll see you again. Bye.